Okay, hello everybody. I'm so happy you could join us for today's virtual users group. We're very excited to bring you our first ARCHIBUS users group 2018 and our very first in Australia. My name's David Brown. I lead Jones Lang LaSalle's Technology Solutions business for Asia Pacific. Michael, if you can just move one slide on for me. Technology supports our customers through three key services: advise, build, and manage. Advise, we act as kind of real estate technology consultants. Build, we develop and implement a range of different technology solutions, including ARCHIBUS, for our customers, and manage our clients' and customers' requirements on an ongoing basis. We're really excited to be presenting this session after having put together a talented team in Australia over the last year in order to service this market. So I'd like to introduce that team to you. I've already introduced myself. Michael Taggart is the Head of Technology Solutions in Australia, and he's joined by Ash Smith, our Solutions Consultant based in Perth. And then also today, Stefan Klotra has joined us from the US, who leads our technology consulting business globally. And also we have Nicole Briggs, who's helping us host today's session. So looking to the agenda, in today's session, we'll focus a great deal of attention on the newest release of ARCHIBUS, which is version 23.2. We'll receive an introduction to what's new in this version from Michael and Ash, and then Michael will take a look at ARCHIBUS and activity-based working. He'll explain what you should know about how our global JLL clients are utilizing ARCHIBUS space for their activity-based work environments. And following that, Stefan will dive into future trends in technology and why we as CRE and FM professionals should be aware of the trends such as utilization, machine learning, and much more. We'll close out today's user group with some ARCHIBUS tips and tricks from Ash. Just onto a little bit of housekeeping. If at any point today in today's presentation you have questions, please log them in the Q&A or chat feature. We'll certainly try to get to all of them today, but if we're unable, we'll reach out to you after the session. We're currently recording today's virtual user group, and we'll be sure to send a link out of the recording and the presentation materials to everyone who's registered and or attended today. We'll also conduct a number of polling sessions in the session. We'll gather this information to better tailor our content in the future. Please note all questions that are answered are anonymous and will be shared with the group as an output after this session. And with that, I want to ask the first polling question of the day before I pass the presentation over to Michael and Ash. So the first question is really, how well do you know JLL? So A, we know JLL well. We partner in many areas currently with the organization. B, not too well, thinking about engaging for technology strategy or support. Not well at all, looking forward to learning more. So the polling will appear on your screen for about 2 minutes. Once you answer the box, it will disappear. So let's move into what's new in version 23.2 with Michael and Ash.
Excellent, thank you, David. Okay, so the main emphasis for today's session is not only to introduce JLL Technology Solutions and what value we think we can bring, but also to review what is new in ARCHIBUS version 23.2. ARCHIBUS version 23.2 was released only a couple of months ago, but we're already seeing a number of our clients adopt and start the upgrade process from the previous version to 23.2. But one thing I think before we jump in and go through all the different features and functions that are now available in 23.2 was to take a look back over the last 4 to 5 years of ARCHIBUS releases and really see what has come out in each of the major and minor releases. I think over time what we've realized is that all of our customers and all of the different users of ARCHIBUS across the world are at varying stages within their ARCHIBUS deployment. There are some companies that are upgrading every year or with every version. There are some institutions that do that or go through that cycle every 18 months to 2 years. But it's important, I think, to understand where ARCHIBUS has come, what have been the key features that have been made available in each of the new releases, but also what is now available in 23.2. So if we take a step back all the way to 19.2, which was a number of years ago, this was a large, albeit a minor release as far as the release cycle is concerned. It was a large release for ARCHIBUS because it really set about implementing all of the applications into Web Central. So it was kind of the start of the sunsetting of the Windows client or the desktop client that many of us are probably still familiar with, and it was the migration of all of those different views and reports into the longer-term strategy for ARCHIBUS, which was Web Central. If we jump ahead a little bit to 20.2, we saw the introduction of some new green energy and environmental modules into ARCHIBUS. We saw improved audit logging, so we could actually monitor and track changes that were made throughout the application and against the database, which was something that did exist in the past. And we also introduced some tools like redlining that enabled us to actually jump into ARCHIBUS floor plans that were published and make certain markups and redlines to those drawings. Jumping ahead again to 21.1, this was a large release for ARCHIBUS mainly because it brought about the implementation or the offering of the ARCHIBUS mobile solution. This solution was offered across a few modules at the time, primarily building operations and space management, but this really was that first introduction of the ARCHIBUS mobile platform to the ARCHIBUS user base. One other key component that you'll see featured in a number of post-releases as well was the PDF drawing printing. As less and less users interact with AutoCAD and as more and more management staff within organizations want access to things like drawings and what have you, their reliance upon AutoCAD is going away, and they're now relying upon ARCHIBUS to do such things as PDF printing. So we can now actually go in and print a floor plan directly from within ARCHIBUS and highlight it with certain patterns or review certain organizational information as it exists in the floor plan today. 21.2, we saw the introduction of some large UI improvements. So this brought home pages and the performance metrics framework into the mix. So home pages is ARCHIBUS' attempt at consolidating user roles into one more user-friendly view. So if I'm a space planner or if I'm involved in space planning, I would have my own specific home page that contains all the different tasks, the metrics, and reports in one screen, as opposed to having to navigate around the application to find each one of those.